Welcome to Women in Deep Tech Investment Consortium podcast, where we bring you the investors, the founders, and the innovators who are changing the world. And I'm so delighted today to welcome Dr. Martha Boeckenfeld, who is an experienced CEO and founder, top 100 Women of the Future, World Peace Ambassador for the United Nations, and a top thought leader on Metaverse. She's someone that I've followed for a long time, and her views and her inspiration are followed by many. Welcome, Dr. Martha. Thank you for joining the podcast.
Thanks a lot for having me. I'm super thrilled to be here today. And as I just learned, I'm the first one, so that's a real privilege.
It's absolutely a privilege, and we're so thrilled to actually have you. So I would love you just to introduce yourself, why you're interested in women in deep tech or deep tech, and why you're interested in joining our journey with the Global Investment Consortium.
For me, it's very clear that we are right now living in an age of transformation. So everything is changing very, very fast. And the key accelerator is not only artificial intelligence, but deep tech as a whole. And when we talk deep tech, then we mean crazy idea, breakthroughs, something we have never seen before. It's all happening now. And I believe from all what I've seen and what I practiced as well, is that we have not only the interconnectivity between these different topics, but we also have the big convergence. There is a fantastic report from ARK Investment where they talk about the convergence of digital wallets, digital currency, digital identity, then auto mobility and metaverse, and all these different technologies coming together and having an impact on growth of 230 trillion. So the biggest also how it comes all together are neural networks from AI. So we have to see this as an opportunity also for, in particular, women to get into, to not miss the train and to close this huge gender gap, which we have already on women in tech, and just make a, you can almost say, a leapfrog as a woman to go into the next faster than we have ever done before.
It's incredibly exciting to listen to you, and on two counts. One is that I follow you, and you are one of the most forward-thinking futurists that we have today. So you're always looking forward and saying, this is the next technology, you need to know about that. And secondly, because you're really inspired about getting more women into technology, and I share that with you. But let me ask you about the kinds of technologies or projects that you're working on at the moment.
I am involved in a couple of things, and there is one very exciting one. Is called Holo Art. And Holo Art is a combination, and there's also fantastic women leading these efforts from Canada, where you have technology, science, and art coming together. And not only researchers, but you can say executives, governments, and we are now planning a big exhibition. As always, is innovation, lots of challenges, and we don't know if it will realize, where all the art assets are already there and they don't have to be only digital, where we also have the quantum, the science. And when I talk quantum, also people sometimes only think of tech, but they forget also we as super intelligent people, we have a quantum space in our brain. I'm reading now Joe Dispenza with Supernatural. So there's a book in AI called Superhuman, but just think about supernatural, reinforcing our supernatural forces with technology. And these are the kind of things I'm exploring myself, working on. I'm executive also on Holo Art. And at the same time, I'm investing in an AI, you can say, sort of startup with my nephew, where we do content. So we do content with AI, very, very, I would say, not simple, but advanced in terms of digital twins, which is very new concept for a lot of people, but which is already here and which is, I would almost say, a commodity in quotes for some, like for us, but for others, this is wow. And the third piece, I'm also an investor in, it's called Cosmic Universe. You can already tell from the name. It's again about this Innovation, we promote very heavily an influencer. She's not a new influencer. She's there for 5 years, also a United Nations Peace Ambassador, but virtual. She has already 500K. She's one on Instagram, one of the top influencers, really for peace, technology, and making people less afraid of what tech can deliver to us. The other part I'm very passionate about is how can we create something better for us with technology? So it's not like technology is destroying us, like, all this dystopian science fiction, which I also have seen. I love science fiction since I'm 5. So I have the benefit of an older brother who always loved science fiction. So I've seen the early Star Treks, and this all comes with this amazing world we are in.
Yeah, I think it's incredibly exciting. And there were 2 points that caught my attention. One was this is a way to use technology to augment our intelligence, to make us capable of doing more, of using our creative and scientific energies. And I think that that's incredibly important. The other side of it is the kinds of things that you're working on are going to make our world better. And I think that's something that we share, and we should be trying to help people understand that this is a bit like fire. It's got great potential for good and it's got potential for bad, and we need to work on showing people how it can help them. So one of the things that we hope to do, of course, is bring more women into deep tech. So you've had a lot of experience both as an investor, as a founder, and as an executive. Have you got any handy hints for women who'd like to be interested in doing something in deep tech for what they should be thinking about?
Yeah, I think there are really 5, I would say 5 tips you can say I have incorporated in my own life. I mean, the first biggest is don't be afraid, never be afraid. So I've been jumping in a lot of territories where people were saying, how can you do healthcare? How can you do all of a sudden quantum? And you have to believe in yourself as a smart woman. So if you have studied, so education, number 1. So try to get the best education. Don't stop education. I study every day, a minimum 2 to 3 hours. So I start very early, and be yourself. So try to find what excites you. And once you get into this, it's a bit like addictive. So be yourself, be authentic is number 1. Number 2 is also try to find mentors. You will be very surprised how many people you can reach when just asking. So never stop asking people for help, for saying, how can I do this better? Can you be my mentor? I've seen male mentors. I've had a lot of male mentors. I haven't even asked them. They took me under their umbrella. So very, very fortunate. So also lean out to male allies, because they usually have a way of nurturing networks. So don't hesitate. And there are also wonderful women networks, as we know, teaching, educating, and creating communities. So the third point is join communities. Join where you feel comfortable. Join locally in person, but also I have a number of communities I join in person in Switzerland. But as you know, I'm also part of the Metaverse Council. So I love this exchange. We have WhatsApp. Sometimes it's overwhelming. I have so many WhatsApp and I don't know, oh my God, how I can cope with this. But it's always interesting new pieces. So the challenge is more, this is my fourth point, you can say, is focus. So what is your focus? And as part of your focus, say no. This is my biggest challenge still right now. Saying no to things and dividing what takes me further and what is important. And I do a lot of stuff voluntary. And where do I need to find the barriers? So very early in my career, I've done assessments, do an assessment. Also, I've done Myers-Briggs, where it was very clear I have challenges because I love so many things and I love to do so many things and I have so much power, only to an extent, that I need to learn how to say no. And the other part now, the final part is that you always should try and you always should be prepared to fail, but you should never fail to really try.
I think that's just incredible. I think they're really five powerful pointers for people who are thinking about it. And I'm going to replay this again after the interview. So maybe just as a last thought, we're talking about raising investment, investing in women in deep tech founders. And so we need to build that community. We need to bring on mentors. We need to find the innovators, and we need to find the startups, and we need to find the investors. What's your message to this broad-based community that we're building about why investing in women in deep tech is good value?
But it's interesting. There is a very, very good UBS report which demonstrates that generally investing in women is making more money. It's actually 80% on the dollar compared to men. But interesting enough, as you and I know, the flip side of that is that we don't have enough investments. So there are a lot of numbers, facts, statistics which demonstrate that co-founders with women or women founders do earn you more money. And apart from the fact that women have a lot of different skills which they can bring to the table, and as we have seen with brilliant women like Fei Li is also one of the women I really, really admire with AI for all, her diversity and inclusion approach. She is brilliant. And there are so many brilliant women out there we can activate. So when I hear also on different levels, oh, we don't have enough women. I just also came from a Swiss hackathon. We had 30 women applying in this Swiss hackathon. It was amazing. And we had women in the jury because we still have a bias. So it's very, very important also for investors. That's why I love our platform. You have a lot of women also contributing, and you have women who are engaged and have also a certain gravitas. So it's not like they can say there are women there they cannot rely on, or they don't have the ingredients, or we just take them out of diversity. So I don't like people taking out of diversity. I like people taking out of quality. And the quality and the growth and the facts speak that when you have women and as investor, as co-founders, being part of the teams, you have a much, much higher performance.
Dr. Martha, we're absolutely inspired by you. Thank you for those wise words. I'm sure that many, many people in our community will listen again and again to your advice. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you for being our first podcast with the Women in Deep Tech Global Investment Consortium.
Thanks a lot. And I look so much forward driving this community and investing in some very, very wonderful startups and bringing them to light.